What is going on, everybody? Is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we are going to be doing a mock draft using my official big board. This is the official release of it. Yeah, it's not fully realistic and everybody's board is going to be different, and that is a-okay. Obviously, I want to show you guys exactly what I've been doing behind the scenes, and with all the grading stuff that goes on, all the work I put into it, at least you guys get to see this type of process, which I want to be able to give to you guys. So if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. We're supposed to only be at 4K by draft day. We are a month away, and literally minutes ago, we just breached 4,400. So you guys have been absolutely killing it. So thank you guys for making this dream possible. Hey, I want to make this my full-time job, y'all. So it's up to you guys to make that happen. But let's kick right into this. Let's have a good time. This is not going to be exactly realistic. I'm going to try to do it a little bit more of the way I would do it. Might be similar to the way the mock drafts go, but at the same time, this is going to be going off of my rankings. So we will see George Karlaftis going a lot higher than sometimes I probably send him, just because I think he's an absolute beast. Again, this is not realistic. This is just like a cool what I would do mock draft. And if it's a perfect world, these are the guys I would take. Again, we're taking kind of scheme a little bit less into factor here, coaching and decisions in terms of what the Eagles drafting a linebacker in the first round. We're not going to be factoring that in here. So let's continue. Let's have some fun. Let's kick this off. Number one, if I'm Jacksonville, regardless of what happened, I would still consider offensive line here. You know, you only have a tackle for one more year. Next year's class isn't that great. But that being said, you have three tackles, Walker Little, Jawan Taylor, as well as Cam Robinson. I think that you're perfectly fine at that position. So I still am going to be going the odds favorite, Aidan Hutchinson, to be the number one pick. He's an absolutely phenomenal edge rusher, and man, like he can just really put the pedal to the metal. He recomped his entire body. People are saying that they're worried about that 1 year production. I mean, he actually changed the style of player he was as well. So I think that it's not exactly a great litmus test to look at the years prior, because his entire play style, his entire play body was totally different. This is a new Aidan Hutchinson. His floor is Trey Hendrickson, and that is extremely, extremely impactful. So if you get that all the time, like if he just bottoms out as Trey Hendrickson, you know, he's making a good amount of money and making a very big impact on a team that made the Super Bowl. So I think that Aidan Hutchinson's an absolute stud. Number two, if I am the Detroit Lions, there's a couple of positions I'm looking at here. I'm looking at Sauce Gardner because I just think he's the best player I've ever scouted. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. And having him on opposite side of, wow, I just bugged out on, wow, I know, Caesar Williams. It's like his best friend too. I'm bugging out on the corner's name, but kid that you got out of Ohio State a couple of years ago, number 3 overall pick, Jeff Akuda. Boom, there we go. Had to reason it out. Yeah, Jeff Akuda, Sauce Gardner would be a nasty duo. That being said, I am not going to lean that route. You could look at Malik Willis here for sure, but I mean, I would trade out of the spot. We're not going to do trades in this just because of the fact that it's like, well, then it starts getting a little bit more complicated. At this point, I'm not that huge of a fan of everybody that's on the board. I would trade out if there were trades, but honestly, I just think KT's the best guy in the class. I really do, in terms of what's left on the board. He has the highest ceiling out of anybody, and he's just an absolutely phenomenal talent. You know, again, we're taking out the Dan Campbell, I want a hard worker into this aspect. The guy is still worth arguably a number 1 overall pick to me. The guy's an absolute beast. So we're going KT number 2. Number 3, if I'm the Texans. So I honestly, I would consider Sauce Gardner here. I'll just say that. I would consider Sauce. But at the same time, Derek Stingley or Kyrie Elam might be there at number 13. So I think I'd be fine with that. Evan Neal is an absolute stud. You do have Titus Howard there, who, correction noted, played right tackle for pretty much 1.5 to 2 years. I moved to left guard, and he played a lot better at left tackle this year. But I think that Titus Howard is rumored to actually like to play next to Tunsil. Regardless, Titus Howard is going to be needing a contract within the next couple of years. Evan Neal is just unbelievable. I think that he's just the best talent in the class besides Sauce Gardner. So I'm locking him up right there. And if I am the Jets, I'm definitely looking at Sauce Gardner here and taking a very long, hard look, because I'm seeing teams like the Seahawks that could definitely want him. Hell, the Giants are thinking about trading Garrett Bradbury. So honestly, I know you guys need edge, but at the same time, this is my favorite player in the class. He is Darrelle Revis 2.0, and you're going to be getting him back in New York. He is just phenomenal. Nobody talks about him enough, even though people say he's the number 1 corner. Like, I do think he might be the number 1 player in the class. Number 5, the Giants are on the board, and you guys know exactly where I'm going with this. Ikem Ekwonu and Charles Cross to me are kind of tied depending on what flavor of ice cream you want. You want somebody who's going to be a little more seasoned in the past game, might be a little bit more translatable instantly. You get Charles Cross. Or you can get Ikem Ekwonu, where even if he's not very good the first year, it's just talking about Matt Pierce, right? So regardless, I'd be happy with either of these options. I am still going to be going Ikem Ekwonu here. I'm going to solidify the fact that I have an all-pro tackle. He can play guard in the short run as well. I know John Feliciano just got brought in along with Mark Lewinsky. So you could still put him there if he's having some struggles. I think that he's a super moldable guy, and he has a lot higher of a ceiling than guys like Charles Cross. Number 6 for the Panthers, Charles Cross should be the option here. Malik Willis is an incredible talent. He really is. He's a phenomenal talent. And I do think that he should be in this range. I do love how he's a great leader. He does want the best for his teammates. That's somebody who you should want leading your franchise. That being said, I'm not in the draft room, so I know I'm not going to get fired for this. And I think the best move for the franchise isn't to throw Malik Willis into the fire. It's to get Charles Cross and actually solidify the full offensive line. Brady Christensen can also play guard. He also has shorter arms. Charles Cross is an absolute beast. It's the most valuable position, arguably, in football besides the quarterback position. And again, you don't have to reach on a quarterback that might not impact you well in the beginning. Everybody's even saying Malik has crazy potential. He just probably won't be able to play day one at that potential. This team needs somebody to save their franchise. Charles Cross is a really good guy to put in there. If you get a veteran like Jimmy G, I wouldn't be that big of a fan, but even like Baker Mayfield, again, we're throwing out the bullshit with how Baker Mayfield doesn't want to go there, that you guys get the idea. Some type of veteran might be a lot better behind a good offensive line than a rookie who's raw behind a poor offensive line. And this doesn't account to this year. This also counts to future years. Number 7 with the Giants. Edge rusher is still a position I really want to target, but with the loss of, this is actually shaping up to be pretty close to what I normally do for my drafts, but with the loss of Logan Ryan to Tampa Bay, Kyle Hamilton's the perfect option here. He's a phenomenal athlete. He graded out as one of the top players in the draft class for me. And I just think that his impact for this roster is going to be absolutely ridiculous. He's just going to be everywhere. Jabril Peppers also gone. So losing 2 safeties, now you can replace him with one. With Wink Martindale, who can definitely use safeties to their max potential, this is going to be pretty nasty. It's going to be very scary to have Kyle Hamilton on this team. Number 8 with the Falcons. I got some stuff in my eye. This could be an edge rusher, but I do think that wide receiver with the need is probably the right move. Quarterback, again, you go Malik Willis here, and I think that would be a fair option. At the same time, who are you going to be throwing to? I think that Garrett Wilson's impact in the long run might be greater, because regardless, even if Malik Willis booms, you're going to have pretty much Kyle Pitts to throw to, and that's it. And I love Kyle Pitts. He's my number 3 dude last year. I think it was. He was up there. He's like number 2 or number 3. And you have that. And that's great. But there's also 11 defenders. And at least 5 of them will be able to at least cover Kyle Pitts in some way, shape, or form. You need to at least bolster this roster. You're in a 2 to 3 to 4 year 4-year rebuild. And this is the best way to start it off with a 5-star wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. You could go Drake London to get that good boundary threat, but I think you already have a nice, tall, elite weapon in Kyle Pitts. At least get the best guy in the draft class. People are saying Garrett Wilson's Julio Jones. A little bit weird to say that. I would just say it's Odell Beckham Jr. in his prime. The guy is just absolutely phenomenal. Big fan of him. And you guys get to see all my rankings here. So spoiler alerts, but if you guys want to see the actual rankings videos, they'll be coming up, or they're already up. Number 9 for the Seahawks. This is going to be probably Malik Willis, because again, this team didn't give up that much. They gave up 1 quarterback. They kept the rest of their roster, and they added a lot of pieces. So this is not a roster that is bereft in terms of their talent. So I think Malik Willis would not be a bad option. You have him sit for a year, you come out, and then you have extra first-round picks. You use an offensive line, use on weapons. I honestly think this is not a bad idea. Again, Malik Willis, my number 14 player in the draft. Guy could just be absolutely dominant. This is a team that is perfectly suited for him to grow and mature in. Number 10, you got the New York Jets here. And I'm still looking at Tyler Linderbaum, and I love him to death. He's one of my favorite players. I know y'all need wide receiver too. I do believe that there are some guys in this draft class that could suffice. You do have 2 already. That's why I got to reemphasize, guys. You have 2 already, and that is good enough for me to take a shot in building a super solid offensive line. I am not sold on the center position exactly over Tyler Linderbaum. That's a big thing. To be fair, we could go the wide receiver position. It might be the best choice for the franchise. George Karlaftis could be a really nasty edge rusher for the team. And you guys see, he's ranked pretty highly. Travon Walker also really highly. And honestly, I might go Travon Walker over George for this team. Ooh, that'd be fun. That'd be pretty fun. Honestly, I'm considering it. Man, Travon Walker would be pretty nasty under Robert Saleh. But you know what? I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to go Drake London here. You know, one of my favorite players is falling a little bit, but that's A-okay because Drake London is going to offer a really nice, well-rounded experience. You do have a well-rounded roster. You already have 2 wide receivers, sure, but Corey Davis is not a wide receiver 1, and neither is Elijah Moore, I love Elijah, but you need somebody who could be a true number 1. Drake London can be that for you. Number 11 with the Washington Commanders, which somehow, some way, TDN is that crappy and that lazy that they don't update it. It is what it is. But if you're at this point, I would definitely be looking into this linebacker room. I would be. I do think that is a position that you should be able to target. Corner as well, definitely on the list. Wide receiver, it should be in there. It should. And I don't think people talk about that enough. But honestly, this is a really shitty position to be in. The more I look at it, I'm like, damn, I just don't like this position because the best positions are the things that they don't need. That's the defensive line. You got some guys who are absolute monsters here. So honestly, this kind of sucks. Like if we're going to be 100% fair here, this kind of sucks. So I'm going to take best player available. Biggest impact would be Derek Stingley Jr. here. If he's healthy, awesome. If he's not, well, you didn't exactly need him. It is kind of just taking the best of the worst. It's going to be weird to see Derek Stingley in a Washington Commanders uni, but I'm all here for it. So number 12, if I am the Minnesota Vikings, I think I might be going Jordan Davis here. I don't care who else is on the board because, I love George Karlaftis. I think the guy's going to be a baller, but you guys just signed Zadarius Smith. Jordan Davis, Zadarius Smith, Danielle Hunter. I don't care about I think it's like Harrison Phillips. I think you guys brought him on. I don't care. I'm going Jordan Davis. I really could not give a rat's ass. Number 13 for the Texans. I think that you could go Kyer Elam here as well, but I am actually going to be going George Karlaftis out of Purdue. I know that a lot of people don't like that and they say Travon Walker's better, but I think George Karlaftis is a freaking beast. I don't know why people are hating on him. If you guys are that bummed about it, take him at this pick because Travon Walker is this one. Okay. You really don't like it? Swap him. Because I know that the Texans fans will probably be fine with Travon Walker anyways. And Ravens fans, same with George Karlaftis after losing out on the prior mentioned Zadarius Smith. Number 15 with the Eagles. So I still think edge would be a good position to go after. Derek Barnett back on a 2-year deal, but we all know it's pretty much a 1-year deal with some extra guarantees in case he gets cut for year 2. Kyer Elam might be the first guy to take off the board, but that's not the case. I'm going to be going Tyler Linderbaum here. I love him to death. He should not be coming out of the top 10, but even though he's ranked that high for me, positional value does matter. And I think that he's going to be the great successor to Jason Kelce. He's back for 1 more year. It's not there for the long term. I think that's the best option available. Number 16 for the Eagles. I still think they can go after corner in free agency, but Kyer Elam is an absolute baller. I think he's great in man and zone. So he fits any scheme that he goes into. He has the perfect build, 6'2", 200, and he ran a 4.41 or 4.39. He ran a 4.39. So honestly, sign me up for that. Number 17, if I am I was about to say San Diego Chargers. Wow, I had a brain lapse there. If I'm the Chargers, I'm going to be going a wide receiver here. And I'm actually not going to be going any of my top dudes because these guys, I think Jahan Dotson's built to be a number 2. Treylon Burks is built to be a weird gadget weapon, which I don't think fits. Alec Pierce could be a true 1, but I think he'll start out as a 2. Again, this team's not looking for that. Sky Moore is definitely an interesting option. I'm going to go Chris Olave because I do think he's the best option. Well, Jameson Williams has a higher ceiling, This team, since they signed Mike Williams back on the roster, they have the ability to have Jameson Williams sit. Even though Jameson Williams is wide receiver 8 for me, that does not mean that I am against taking him. And you kind of know how, like, you want to get that nice stretch weapon, right? You have a really good separator. You have a big possession target. Now you have a good deep threat. That is a very well-balanced wide receiver core. That's going to be a big payoff in the long run. Number 18 with the Saints. Now, this team, I might be going like Jahan Dotson, Alec Pierce, or Treylon Burks. That's just the way it is. Again, this is for the people who haven't exactly listened to the beginning. This is solely what I would do. It's not a predictive mock whatsoever. I would consider going Sam Howell here, resting him a year, but I love Jabu. I do. Jabu is a freaking king. And like, honestly, I don't know why there's so many people like hating on Jabu Winston at this point. The guy is absolutely phenomenal when he's on the field, and he's a great competitor. I think offensive line is a bigger hole than most people think. Tyler Smith could be a guy that he could kick into guard. I don't think Andreas Pete is honestly all that. You could kick him into guard if he ends up sucking at tackle, but I think he's a long-term tackle. Could go Kenyon Green as well, but that wide receiver core is pretty nasty. So I'm going to respect it. And we're going to be going Jahan Dotson here out of Penn State, 4.4, 140. Guys, super dynamic as a route runner. Not the best RAS score, but I think that is A-okay. For the Eagles, I still think Treylon Burks is an amazing option. I do. Let's look at the other options, though, because you got Jermaine Johnson here. And you know what? Man, linebacker is also such a big need. I know you got Kaiser White, who's an absolute stud, but that doesn't solve everything. Like, this is a tough position for me because you got a really damn good option in Jermaine Johnson. And you have a really damn good option here with all of these linebackers. Oh, man, because I want to go linebacker round 1 so badly for you guys. By the way, this is one of my hot takes. I love Brian Asamoah. I mean, Leo Chanel round 2, Troy Anderson round 2, hell, even Channing Tyndall. These guys are going to be so good. This is such a deep class, man. It is. It really is. I can't do that to you guys. Edge class is super deep as well, but I believe in them a lot less than the linebackers, and I love Jermaine Johnson. I don't care about Derek Barnett. He can kiss my ass cheeks. I swear. Like, he's been okay for his entire career. He got brought on a 2-year deal. You know what? He's probably going to be there for 1. Let Jermaine Johnson come in. And now Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett, like, have that rotation because that's also going to be crucial. Let Jermaine Johnson wreak havoc, man. I just don't care. I don't. I love Jermaine Johnson with a passion. I know the signings make it a little bit illogical, but dude, the guy is phenomenal. Number 20 with the Steelers. If I am them, I'm looking at Sam Howell here. I'm saying, dude, I could sit this dude for a straight year and he's going to ball out. I'm a huge fan of that. Now you can see there's a big drop off from the corners. I have my top 3 and then it's not too bueno. Linebackers would not be a terrible option. We do have Miles Jack now, A+ move Steelers, but you also have Devin Bush, and I'm still looking for a true Mike. Leo Chanel is somebody who I think could be a really good piece to this team. Devontae Wyatt as well. I could definitely see him being added to that interior. Playing with Cam Hayward would be pretty nasty, but not that excited about it. Right now I'm down to Leo Chanel because, again, I think that most of these guys don't offer anything new except Leo Chanel. Like Leo Chanel, maybe we could talk about Tyler Smith. I don't really think that's the best idea in the world. Treylon Burks getting a true number 1 again. You know what? It's a really weird move, guys. It is, but we cut Joe Schobert. We're still looking for a real Mike linebacker, and I love Miles Jack. That doesn't mean that you can't improve a hole that's right next to Miles Jack. And I've never done this before, but we're going Leo Chanel as linebacker 1 in this class. I do love Leo Chanel, 252. Guy runs a 4.53. And he can put up like 40 bench reps, which is insane. The guy's ridiculous. And he's one hell of a charismatic leader. So big fan of what that guy can bring to the table for the Steelers. Helping out in that run game is huge. I think he's very similar to what I saw in Zaven Collins, which I kind of hoped went to the Steelers last year. Did not happen because Arizona was just like, screw you. But we'll see what happens. I love Leo Chanel. Again, this is not realistic. Might end up being more realistic than the realistic mocks, though. And if we're going to be honest here, if I am the New England Patriots, you got to go after a corner, and Tariq Woolen, 6'4", 426. You got to rock it, dude. You have to. This quarterback class is no bueno after really probably here. I'm not a huge fan of Roger McCreary. You got to take the shot on somebody, and at 6'4", 426, you develop J.C. Jackson to a $90 million man who I believe was a UDFA. at least take a shot on Tariq Woolen, man. You gotta try. Number 22, if I am the Green Bay Packers, I'm looking at Treylon Burks and I'm like, yeah, he doesn't have the RAS score. And again, this is not realistic. So let's get that out of here. But man, his potential is through the roof. You get the ball in his hands and he's really good after the catch. I think that that's going to be a big option for whoever's throwing the ball there. I know Aaron Rodgers is right now, but you never know. It's a 2-year deal. At the end of that, then, I mean, obviously, if Jordan Love's still there, you have Treylon Burks as a seasoned veteran, and he can actually impact the roster pretty well. Number 23 for the Cardinals. If I am them, I'm going to be getting Devontae Wyatt. Interior defensive line to me isn't exactly completely filled. And again, I just think Devontae Wyatt's talent is ridiculous. I mean, man, I could go another position. I could, because I'm looking right now at Sky Moore, and he'd be a nasty piece on this offense. He would be. I can't do that though. Tyler Smith's here too. And I know guard is actually a spot of vulnerability. And then you could be moving him out to tackle as well. We're going to go Tyler Smith here. I'm going to go that route. I love Tyler Smith. He's my number 18 player on my board, as you guys can see. Guy's just absolutely dominant. Big fan of him. Number 24 with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, there's so many options for us to go. I'm just realizing how damn good like some of these pieces in the draft are, and some of the positions especially. And you could look at Nakobe Dean as a really fun option here. Edge rushers should be something you do look at, but I've already taken most of the guys who I would probably consider at this point. Offensive line, again, something that you should consider. And Kenyon Green can play guard and move to tackle. I don't know if I would exactly take him here, but again, I do think he's a left tackle at heart, and that's one position he can't play on this roster. So you could go a wide receiver. I know that I'm just going to piss off Cowboys fans doing that. To be fair, I don't really care that much. Man, it's a tough spot. It really is. And I'm going to go Devontae Wyatt here. Again, building up that defensive front. He can play 5-tech if you honestly want him to. He's athletic enough, but Devontae Wyatt is just going to be the best player available. Number 25 for the Bills. I think that corner could be the option here, but there's just nobody good. So I'm going to give him best player available. You know, you have Roger Saffold there on a 1-year deal. That doesn't exactly mean that the spot is filled. I could go Sky Moore. You did actually just end up losing out on Cole Beasley. So Sky Moore could be a really fun option. Being up there in Western Michigan, he is used to those type of climates. Would not be a bad option in my opinion. Sky Moore would be fun. Alec Pierce, I love him to death. He might be going in this first round, might not be. You could look, I mean, there's nobody on the defensive front that I would want to get for them. Breece Hall is the only dude who I'd consider out of the running back room. I know people hate that with a passion. Like, I do think Kenyon Green would be a really good option for this team. Again, you can actually sit him and have him develop for a year. I just don't know if he goes in the first. I don't. I know Sky Moore would. And to be fair, we have seen in the NFL time after time again that these teams sometimes play defense with their picks and make sure that a team like the Kansas City Chiefs can't get somebody of Sky Moore's talent. And I think that would be a good option. Chris Olave as well. Both of them phenomenal talents. So I'm going to be going Sky Moore here out of Western Michigan, play that slot. He could move to boundary as well, but I think the guy could just be a complete baller in this offense. Number 26 with the Titans. A linebacker is not their normal cup of tea. I still think that they could be going after it. I do think that there's some very good linebackers on the board. I mean, again, it's like, I think Chris Olave could be a really good addition to this team, though. You got Robert Woods, you got AJ Brown. Chris Olave could actually thrive, and he's a really good separator. You know, getting that final piece might be the best thing you can do. So we're going to be going Sky Moore here. Number 27 with the Buccaneers. I think going offensive line is the need. And you go Kenyon Green here because he's a very, very big addition. Number 28 with the Packers. I might want to go Arnold Ebiketie here. That wouldn't be a bad option. I do know Travis Jones would be fun too. But I'm looking at all the options here, making sure nobody crazy is falling. Linebacker, you still could go after Nakobe Dean because you can use him as an edge rusher as well. That pass rushing skill is elite. I'm going Nakobe Dean here out of Georgia. You know, again, I just think that he's just really damn good. He's a really damn good player. He's in my top 15, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I might be in the top 20, but definitely deserves to be taken. I love him. Number 29 with the Kansas City Chiefs. They did not maximize their potential on Chris Olave or Sky Moore. That sucks. But honestly, not for the teams that are facing Kansas City. I still think Alec Pierce could be an amazing option. I would not take him at this pick, but maybe the next one. Arnold Ebiketie should be taken, though. He's a phenomenal day one impact to edge rusher, but David Ojabo could be just, I mean, the ceiling sky high on that dude. And I mean, both of them are just phenomenal athletes. You know, David Ojabo scored lower for me, I will admit, but I do love Arnold Ebiketie, man. He's really good. So that's what we're going to go with. The guy is just phenomenal. At number 30, we are going to be actually going with a very controversial pick here. This is my guy, Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati. Guy can run a 4.41 and everything might be 4.43. Whoop-de-doo, sue me. And he's really smooth on his routes. Really good separator as well. Good at the catch point. Multi-sport athlete. I like him. Number 31 for the Bengals. Seeing if there's a good center here. Zion Johnson's probably going to be my pick after all is said and done. I'm not a fan of these corners. I'm just going to be honest. Andrew Booth's the only one who I'd consider here. So out of respect for y'all, I'm going to be going Zion Johnson here out of Boston College. He's my next highest graded center prospect. And I think that him sitting a year under Ted Karras would not be a bad option. I think it'd be a pretty good one. And last but not least, at number 32, you got the Detroit Lions on the board. And you have your option at linebacker here. And I think I'm going to go Devin Lloyd out of Utah. So yes, is this realistic? Absolutely not. No, that's what I do with the majority of my videos. But honestly, I just want to have a little bit of fun. Throw some names in there that we haven't usually seen, like Alec Pierce, Tyler Smith up pretty high, Leo Chanel, and obviously Tyler Linderbaum going crazy high. Just want to have some fun here. So thank you guys so much for supporting my channel and always having a ball, always down in the comments section. So thank you guys again. See you on the far side. Peace.